Welcome back to Shrekcember, and today we're taking a look at Shrek 3, or Shrek 3, depending on however you want to say it. The thing about any series, be it books, movies, TV shows, eventually you hit the point of diminishing returns, and for the Shrek movies, that point is most definitely Shrek 3. There's just no reason for this movie to exist. Everything was wrapped up perfectly at the end of the second one, and anything else would just be a cheap cash-in, and considering the massive money-making juggernaut that the Shrek movies became, it's not hard to see why DreamWorks was seeing green positively everywhere. Right off the bat, you know you're in trouble. The movie starts off without the classic storybook intro that the other two had, and it's revealed that our villain of the piece will actually be Prince Charming. Yeah, the guy from the last movie, who the whole joke was that he sucked at everything and needed his mother to help him. Turns out he's been working as a stage actor in a bad retelling of the events of the last two movies, and one day, pretty much out of the blue, he decides he wants revenge on Shrek and to become king. It should also come as no surprise that this was a whole new directorial team this go-around, and very few of the last movie's writers actually stayed on, something that is kind of a sad trend for the Shrek movies. To fulfill his plot, Charming recruits an army of evil fairy tale characters, even though all throughout the series we've been shown that it's the good characters who are actually evil, and the supposed evil characters who are actually good. So in short, Shrek 3 is the start of the series betraying its own initial concepts, but trust me, it'll get much worse later. I mean, it's not even like they got a bunch of good villains for the evil team either. Captain Hook is there, mostly to recycle a bunch of jokes we already saw from the second movie, and the evil queen from Snow White. Beyond that, it's really just a lot of nameless, faceless henchmen. You know, I've been talking this long and I haven't even mentioned the main character yet. Shrek is struggling to fill the shoes of the king after Fiona's father dies, and when he can't hack it, he decides to go and find someone else to be king. Yeah, Shrek's main motivation in this movie is trying to find a go-around for new responsibility that's been put on him. He doesn't even really try to make a go at being king. He just decides, well, this isn't for me, better find someone else. A smarter movie might have tried to find some sort of external threat that pushes Shrek towards finding a new king. Maybe the threat of an uprising or something from the regular townsfolk who wouldn't want to be ruled over by an ogre, but none of this really becomes an issue, mainly because Shrek 3 is not a very smart movie at all. The replacement king sadly turns out to be Artie, aka King Arthur, voiced by Justin Timberlake, of Arthurian lore no less. Yep, the series has now gone on so long and used up so much fairy tale mythology that they need to start branching out. Timberlake's star was very much on the rise at the time this movie was made, and wouldn't you know it, he also just so happened to be dating Cameron Diaz. Supposedly the filmmakers didn't know about this connection, but honestly, I wonder. Now, being the third film in the series, we of the audience have already seen Shrek and Fiona fall in love, stay in love, so the next logical step is of course children. But despite all of Shrek's growth, he fears that he may not be a good father. Yep, 3 movies in and our main character has essentially become a sitcom dad, with sitcom dad problems, and this is pretty much true for everything in the movie, honestly. On paper, I think I can see what they were going for here. Shrek is supposed to mentor / become a father figure to Artie, and in doing so become a confident father in his own right. Only that never comes across in the finished film for a number of reasons. One, we really don't understand why Shrek thinks he won't be good enough despite all of his growth as a character, and two, Artie just sucks. So much of the movie hinges on him, and yet he's such a total non-character, and basically just here so the movie can make some prolonged medieval high school jokes. As far as new characters go, they may have killed off John Cleese, but they certainly have Eric Idle as Merlin. He comes in late in the movie, which I imagine he was supposed to be the Puss in Boots breakout of this film, but he's really only here so Donkey and Puss can trade bodies in an event that maybe produces one kinda sorta funny joke. And at the end of the day, that's the real death blow for Shrek 3. It's just not as funny as the other two. It tries way too hard and can't seem to decide if it wants to pander to a more child-friendly audience or keep things that everyone can enjoy. There's plenty of butt-related jokes and lots more throw-up thanks to the impending babies. Babies who honestly don't really figure into the movie at all until the very end, I might add. I haven't even touched on what's wrong with Fiona's segment of the movie. She's teamed up with a bunch of ditzy, clearly Disney-inspired princesses who she must help escape the bad guys. The only problem is we've never met any of these characters before, never gotten a chance to know them or care about them, even though the movie continues to insist that we do. All in all, this is the biggest part of dead weight for the movie, and it feels like it's only here so the female lead could have something to do while the guys were off having their own adventure. Even the musical choices suffer in this third outing. Oh sure, they get a chance to cover Live and Let Die, but it's so very on the nose the way they use it. Then there's Led Zeppelin, a band who's so very hard to get the rights to their music, shells out for the Immigrant Song, but it's such a quick throwaway bit you wonder why they even bothered in the first place. Overall, Shrek the Third drops the ball in pretty much every conceivable way. It's lazied, hackneyed, and sadly very paint-by-numbers for what was once such an original series. It really did sour my taste for the whole series for a long time. It was only fitting that this movie should come out in the year of the disappointing threequels. You know the ones I'm talking about: Spider-Man 3, Pirates 3, Ocean's 13, etc., etc. But could the Shrek series redeem itself? Well, be sure to tune in next time when I cover Shrek 4. Until then, don't forget, Shrekcember is love, Shrekcember is life.